workshop. Over the course of the next couple of videos, I'm going to make myself a cedar wood hot tub together with a wood-fired water heater to go with it. So that will be split across the two videos. A lot of people, after they've seen the videos, ask me, do I have the plans available? So what I've done for these videos is I've written a booklet which is going to be widely available, and you can see where you can get it from at the bottom of the screen now. Well, I've been thinking about this project for a very long time, and I've probably built it in my mind about 10 times. So the very first job is to make the heat exchanger coil inside the water heater. It sounds very exciting, but in reality it's a length of 22mm copper pipe, it's 3 meters long, and especially to do this job I bought myself a plumber's pipe bender. I'm sure you probably could bend it round something, but why not do the job properly? Now the intention is to bend this round into a series of coils, so the water will come in at one end, go round the coil, come out the other end. We're going to bend this copper pipe into the heat exchanger, which is really just a coil inside the furnace. So I need to mark the bends. So I want the first one to start at 18 inches, so 45 centimetres, and then I'm going to do 9-inch bends after that, so every 22.5 centimetres. And then I'm going to use this pipe bender, which I bought especially for the occasion. And that's the first 90-degree bend done. So here we have finished the copper pipe that we've bent. I didn't really get enough bends into it because obviously the pipe isn't long enough. So what I've done is I've now done a little bit longer piece as well, and I'm just going to put a compression joint on there, making sure I put lots of PTFE tape on. And I'll just tighten these two bits in place. Now, despite the fact that this bit will be inside the fire, the idea is you mustn't use the fire whilst there's no water in the water pipe. So the water pipe acts as a heat sink. And you can start to see we've got our heat exchanger. So now we have the heat exchanger built. All we need to do now is to make the furnace that it's going to sit into. So whatever size you build your. So I'm going to make my box 60 centimetres by 60 centimetres. I want to go back 40 centimetres. And the inside of the box needs to be 50 centimetres, and then I'm going to leave a little bit, add some legs as well, and a little bit of space. So if I was to make this 70 centimetres high, I should be alright. I'm going to make a little frame out of angle iron. You could use box steel if you really want to. But that makes it very heavy, so I'm going to use angle iron, and then I'm going to clad it with some steel panels. So having now created this wonderful piece of modern art, or at least that's what I'm telling everybody it is, it's now time to start making the frame to go around it. Now you may need to adjust the dimensions I'm about to give you to suit the coil that you make, but for the coil that I've made, what I've cut is 4 pieces of 40 by 40 angle iron. This is the one with the 3mm thickness, 70 centimetres long, and I've cut 8 pieces at 40 centimetres long. Now I'm going to quickly weld all these bits and pieces together. This is not a welding video, I don't claim to be a great welder, but it works for me. So I shall be using an arc welder in order to weld all these bits and pieces together, because it is quite thick steel and it will get thicker in a minute. Do remember that you can get the plans for this on my website, along with several of the other projects that I make. Right, so as we start to lay our frame out, you can start to see the logic behind it all. So we've got our 70 centimetre pieces along the top there. We have a 40 centimetre piece across the top there with the flange facing up towards the top. The sides, the flanges are facing out towards the side. Now on the bottom one, I measured up 50mm. I put it so the flange is facing on the inside, and we have a 10mm gap here, and obviously all underneath here will be beneath the furnace, so we will have a bit of an air gap, so we'll protect anything that's going to happen underneath here, but obviously we will be putting this on a concrete base. So as you can see, we've got the basic frame made and it's reasonably sturdy, but it will get stronger as we go along, I promise you. Now the next stage is to start thinking about putting the cladding on. Now I'm going to put a double skin on this. Now I'm working on the theory that as this is going to be sitting next to the hot tub, the chances are as you're moving around by the tub, you're probably going to have bare legs. So by having a double skin with some insulation in between the two, it means the outside of the box should still remain reasonably cold, so should you happen to brush up against it, you won't hurt yourself. That's the theory. Seems like a good idea, so let's do it. So as you can see, I've now cut the bottom plate. It was a piece of sheet steel, 1.2mm thick, and I made it 48 centimetres by 48. I then cut some little notches around the sides here, so that's 40mm by 30 by 3mm, which allows you to get around those. So that just slides into the bottom like that. In a minute I shall just put a couple of rivets in just to hold that in position, but before we do, let's get ready for the next bit. So what you need to do is decide which is going to be the sides and which is going to be the front. So I'm going to assume the bit facing me is going to be the front. And so I can't forget, I've written on the bottom with a felt tip pen. Now the next job is I cut 4 of these pieces of steel, 637mm long, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld them onto the inside of these 4 pieces. The reason for it, in order to do our double skin, which will fit flush with the front of the angle iron, and then we'll have a plate on the outside here, and we're going to fill the gap in between the two with an insulating material. I need something down the edges here just to fix to. So we're starting to see how our cabinet's taking shape. You can also see I've riveted a piece of angle iron on the back here, so that the front face of it is 40mm from the back, so it lines up with our angle iron at the top, and I've done the same on both sides. I then cut and that becomes the inside of the back of our cabinet. But I'm not going to fix that into place just yet, because we need to make some holes in it to allow for the pipes for the heat exchanger to go through the back. So I want to get all these bits and pieces ready before I actually cut those holes. So I'm now going to fix some more angle iron along the sides like this, and I shall rivet them in place roughly in the centre. It's 20mm angle iron and each piece is 20 centimetres long. And that will support the inside of the lid, or the inside of the top. So again, I'm going to fix these so that the front face here is 40mm down from the top, so it lines up with the front of our angle iron there. And I'll then cut another plate of steel which will go on the inside here, and that will be the inside of the top. So I'm now going to get all those bits and pieces cut and ready, and I'll see you in a moment. So now we've reached the point where we start to fit the outside panels. And I've cut myself some panels to fit. Remember, if you look at my website, the details of which are below, you get all the plans with all the dimensions. It's all just sitting there waiting for you. So in between the two panels, I'm going to use this stuff. It's called vermiculite. You buy it in a very large bag for not very much, and it's a fireproof lightweight insulator. And this will help to keep the outside panel cool. Now, just for this job, I bought myself one of these rather interesting tongue riveters. And once you get used to it, you wonder how you ever did without it. So it's now time to start work on the back panel. So what I've done is I've put the inside back panel on top of the outside back panel, lined the whole lot up together, measured it ever so carefully so that it all lines up correctly with the outside of the frame. And what happens is our heat exchanger mounts on the inside of the top, and then the pipes go through the back. And to make sure that everything lines up, I've then drilled through the top panel in 2 places, so it then lines up with the back panel. So all I need to do now is drill these holes out with a hole saw. Remembering, of course, to put the safety goggles on. You might look like an idiot, but it means you can see afterwards, which is always quite an advantage. That's it, so everything drilled. So what I'm going to do now is quickly rivet this back panel in place, but I won't do the outer panel just yet. I shall leave that for a moment or two until we get the actual heat exchanger coil fitted. So give me a few moments, we'll quickly get this done. Well, you can start to see where we're going with this. This is now with the heating coil inside the box. In a moment I'm going to fix that to the top there, but before I do that we need to stop and think about where we're going to put the chimney. Now I think we need to start putting the centre of the chimney about that. So before we fix anything together, I think it's time to start cutting the hole out now for the chimney. Now this is the outside top plate, and as you can see I've cut myself a hole here for the chimney, and I've also cut out 2 centimetre notches at each corner, and I've scribed along a line 2 centimetres along, and using the edge of the anvil here, what I want to do is to just gently bend this and this will become our top plate. By putting a lip in it like this, we're making it much harder for water to be able to seep inside and cause problems. I'll do this now on all 4 sides, and then that's ready to fit to the top. This is the panel that goes on the inside at the top of our furnace, to which I've added this joining piece, which is part of the chimney sections that I bought. I think it overstates the case to say that I made some brackets. I bent a couple of bits of metal there and riveted the whole thing together. So that all fits together nice and solid. So this panel fits in like that, and then our chimney sections can sit on there and go upwards. So before we go any further, I'm just going to quickly rivet this piece on the inside. This whole thing is starting to get incredibly heavy. I think it's touch and go whether we need mechanical handling in order to move it. There's certainly no danger of him being blown over in the wind. Well, as you can see, that's the heating coil inside the box. There's a couple of brackets just to hold that in with some self-tapping screws. So with the copper coil fitted inside, it's time to start closing up all the panels. So that one fits quite nicely on there. Before I rivet that one in place, I'm just going to fill that with the vermiculite inside. Well, it's time to fit the last big panel. And this is going to be the front. Now, as you can see, I've cut the hole out. That becomes the door. And you'll notice I've gone around a bit of a curve there. It makes it look a little bit nicer. And it's also much easier to cut out like that. So I'm just going to put this one into place and rivet it in. And as they say, the end is in sight. So I'm just going to top up the vermiculite on the top, put some more down the panels at the side, make sure everything's full. And then time to put the lid on the top, and then that's the carcass of this is all made. The only thing that remains to do is to really put some paint on it. So overnight I'm going to put a couple of coats of heat-proof paint on it in a very fetching shade of black, so don't expect it to look anything too exciting. Here we are, the final finished water heater, complete with an ash pan, a fire grate and a door. It's been quite a lot of work. I feel quite disappointed really. I feel at least it's taken this much work. I feel it really needs a few sort of knobs and dials to make it seem very important. Now it's all painted, it just looks like a black box. But we've both seen the amount of work that's gone into this. I'm now thoroughly looking forward to making the hot tub that goes with it.